I'm Greg.
I'm Salamander.
Sally. Have you ever been in a lawsuit, Sally?
Yeah.
Not me. We're gonna watch from one of my favorite channels. They do these great list videos. I'm sure I've shown you one before. What Culture? What Culture? 10 movie scenes that led to massive lawsuits.
You sound like Austin Powers.
Groovy, baby, yeah. I'm excited to check this out, guys. Subscribe to Sally's channel. Check her out on Instagram, where she dresses in sexy Santa outfits. Not Santa Girl, Santa Claus herself.
Well, you know, gender neutral.
Yeah, you know. Hey.
What?
I know at least 2 gender neutral people.
That wasn't a joke. I'm just saying you can dress like
I know, but it's like if you just say it, I'm assuming you're being offensive.
No. I like wearing suits. Fuck it.
It's like if someone says...
Doesn't mean I'm gender neutral, but I like wearing suits.
We have lost all ability to flow in this
cut it
conversation.
Damn it.
What's happening?
I just cried a little.
I'm just that magical, aren't I?
Afterglow.
The high-stress, high-cost, high-risk nature of filmmaking means that there are always going to be accidents on set, and that there are always going to be those litigious cockroaches scuttling out of the woodwork looking for their piece of the pie. I mean, who can forget the woman who sued the producers of Drive for quote-unquote mismarketing it as a Fast and Furious type action film?
I support that woman.
Often
They
lawsuits
had a
are
shitty
filed
trailer.
off the back of specific scenes, though. These can range from the reasonable to the questionable to the flat-out frivolous and ridiculous. From understandable requests for compensation after horrifying accidents to blatantly outlandish attempts to fleece a production for some fast cash. I'm Josh from WhatCulture.com, and these are 10 movie scenes that led to massive lawsuits. Number 10, frat-boy racists get outed.
They sued?
Borat. It's not terribly surprising that Sacha Baron Cohen's outrageous satirical mockumentary resulted in a number of lawsuits, with numerous quote-unquote participants alleging that they were misled about the nature of filming. But the legal case that took the cake stemmed from the infamous sequence where Borat hangs out with a trio of boozed-up frat boys who end up making racist remarks. 2 of the University of South Carolina students featured sued the producers, citing defamation, that the film had impacted their ability to secure jobs, and that they were fed alcohol while under the belief that the footage would never be shown in the US. The 2 participants were seeking to be cut out of the DVD's release, though the suit was ultimately dismissed in February 2007. A motorcycle stunt on rock. Resident
Like
Evil,
defamation,
the
you
final
said
chapter.
that. So
While
like...
filming a scene for the 6th and supposedly final Resident Evil film, in which protagonist Alice rides her motorcycle across the post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland, stuntwoman Olivia Jackson received life-threatening injuries when her bike collided with a camera crane which had been lowered too early. Jackson was left in a medically induced coma for 2 weeks, while the extent of her injuries included a, quote, degloved face, crushed facial bones, a severed neck artery, broken ribs, torn fingers, nerve damage in her spinal cord, and the eventual amputation
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
Jackson inevitably filed a suit against the producers, including director Paul W.S. Anderson, citing that the production, quote, elevated financial considerations over safety, end quote.
This is number 9?
Asked to do the stunt last minute with minimal prep in poor weather, and was misinformed post-injury by the producers how extensively her medical coverage would support her treatments.
Oh,
Jackson
no.
is seeking unspecified damages, and while the lawsuit is still ongoing, the extent of Jackson's career-ending injuries makes it likely that the mammoth franchise, which boasts $1.2 billion at the box office, will be making a substantial payout. Number 8.
It's
Bryan
still
Singer's
going on?
questionable gas
No,
chamber
it's
shower
rebooting
app
it.
Pupil. Bryan Singer's 1998 psychological thriller app Pupil features a sequence where 16-year-old high school student Todd Bowden imagines his showering classmates as Jewish prisoners in the gas chamber at a concentration camp.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait, hang on, what the hell is this film about? 2 weeks after the scene was filmed in California's Elliott Middle School, a 14-year-old
Oh, I
youngster
heard
filed a
about this
lawsuit
one.
claiming he was told to strip naked for the scene
Yeah,
and refused to do so.
I heard about
Later,
this.
2 other boys aged 16 and 17 made similar claims, one complying with the request and the other not. All 3 boys claimed the experience traumatized them and filed for damages against the filmmakers on the grounds of emotional distress, negligence, and invasion of privacy.
You should read that whole
Despite
article.
considerable press coverage, though, no charges were pressed due to the insufficient evidence, and Singer ended up reshooting the scene with adult actors to ensure the film was completed on schedule. In the 2+ decades since the film's release, however, numerous additional unrelated suits have been filed against Singer, citing sexual abuse. As of yet, Singer has never been convicted of a crime, though it's
hate
looking
his face.
increasingly likely that his career as a major Hollywood filmmaker is effectively over.
Oh yeah.
Number 7,
Oh yeah.
John McClane's Black & Decker, or lack thereof, Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
What?
Alright, on to something a bit more lighthearted now.
Thank
The
God.
lawsuit that befell the producers of Die Hard 2, Die Harder is an especially interesting case, because it stems not from a scene in the movie, but one that was filmed yet ultimately cut from the theatrical release. With the sequel's budget skyrocketing to $70 million, 2.5 times the original's modest $28 million, Fox sought relief by deferring to product placement, striking a deal with hardware tycoons Black & Decker to include their new Univolt drill in a scene for $20,000. On an unrelated note, if anyone from Black & Decker is watching this and wants to get in touch, that would be totally fine. Please, I have student loans to pay off.
Like you.
Same.
Pardon that breakdown, the scene in question was to see John McClane use the drill to unscrew a duct at the airport, while Black & Decker mounted a Die Hard-centric promotional campaign, only to learn 3 days before the film's release that the scene had been cut. The company sued for $150,000 in damages, citing a quote loss of credibility, despite never actually paying the production the stated $20,000 in the first
What?
place. Still, Fox eventually settled out of court, though curiously, the Univolt never showed up
Dumb
in any
lawsuit.
Die Hard 2's
They
release
didn't
to
even
be-
say it.
So
Number
Wonder
6,
where they got
stupid.
it out.
jerks it without permission. Couples Retreat. You'd be forgiven for forgetting that 2009's critically panned rom-com Couples Retreat even exists. Yet a scene in which Jon Favreau's Joey masturbates using a pamphlet featuring former model Irina Krupnik resulted in legal action against the film. Krupnik filed
the director
a
of Iron Man.
$10 million misappropriation of likeness invasion of privacy suit, claiming that while she signed a release on the picture a decade prior, for which she was paid $1,500, she never agreed to the quote quasi-pornographic context in which the image was used. Hilariously, the suit went into needlessly specific detail about the scene, fixating on Favreau's weight in the misplaced interest of context. The judge threw the suit out and she received diddly squat for her efforts. Number 5, microwave defamation drama, American Hustle.
There's a line there, I
Movie
guess, to
lawsuits
talk
don't
about.
get much weirder or more unexpected than this. In addition to receiving 10 Oscar nominations, David O. Russell's American Hustle was slapped with a lawsuit due to a scene in which Rosalind Rosenfeld tells her husband Irving that she read an article by Paul Brodeur claiming that microwaves, or as she calls them, science ovens, remove the nutrition from food. Brodeur, a former science writer for The New Yorker, has published books on the apparent dangers of microwave radiation, yet sued the film's production for misappropriating Rosalind's claim to him because he never once suggested that microwaves reduce the nutrition of food.
Oh my
Brodeur
God,
sued
God.
for $1
That's-
million
it's
in
just-
libel damages, alleging that the false claim in the movie had tainted his reputation.
That's dumb.
Ironically, though, Brodeur more likely invoked the Streisand effect by drawing greater attention to a fleeting name drop that your average viewer wouldn't even remember otherwise. The suit was ultimately dismissed, with the court deciding that audiences wouldn't take Jennifer Lawrence's unreliable character seriously, while Brodeur himself had never held a firm written position on the nutritional aspect of microwave food. Personally, I think microwave bacon is
That is so
delicious.
dumb.
Number 4, the Killer's familiar mask, Happy Death Day. Earlier this year, Universal was sued on the grounds that the Happy Death Day horror movies supposedly stole a distinctive design for the Killer's mask.
Really?
Based on the mascot of the movie's fictional high school from the New Orleans Pelicans' mascot, King Kate
They
Beatty.
just removed it
The
too.
creator of the mascot, Jonathan Berticelli, sued Universal, citing that they used the likeness without permission, seeking not only half of the existing profits from both current films, but 50% of all future proceeds as well. The lawsuit is still ongoing, though opinion is sharply divided in the
50%.
court
So
of social media.
ridiculous.
Some see the resemblance as uncanny, while others believe the cherub-like design isn't inherently original enough to warrant legal action. Let me know what you think down in the comments, because to me, it's pretty striking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jerry Heller's defaming and copyright infringing depiction, straight out of Compton. It was only inevitable that a film as incendiary as NWA biography
biopics
Straight Outta
always
Compton would receive its
tend
fair
to-
share of legal interest from the parties depicted,
Yeah,
but
of
none
course.
more so than the group's former manager, Jerry Heller. Heller filed a 12-claim $110 million suit against the filmmakers, not only citing a defaming misrepresentation of his character, but that material had been lifted from his autobiography without permission. Heller believed the film painted him as a, quote, sleazy manager who took advantage, though the defamation aspect of the suit was largely tossed out in mid-2016. Even though Heller died of a heart attack later that summer, which his lawyers claim were provoked by the stress of his depiction in the film, Heller's estate continued with the
that why?
copyright infringement aspect of the suit. Late last year, though, a judge dismissed it on the grounds that Heller's estate failed to establish his partial authorship of the film's screenplay. Number 2, STU'S tattoo, The Hangover Part 2. The Hangover Part 2 has received several lawsuits over the past few years, including an injured stuntman settling out of court and Louis Vuitton unsuccessfully suing for the inclusion of a fake handbag in one scene. But none proved more bizarre than the legal kerfuffle over a tattoo. There's a hilarious scene in the final film where Stu wakes up with Mike Tyson's distinctive tattoo plastered across the side of his face, prompting the tattoo artist who originally created the ink for Tyson, S. Victor Whitmill, to sue the production. Whitmill claimed that the design was copyrighted, and that Warner Brothers never sought permission to use it, while the studio fired back that a tattoo, as residing permanently on a human's face, could not be subject to conventional copyright law. Whitmill's outlandish request to prevent the film's release was rejected, while Warner Brothers made provisions to digitally alter Stu's tattoo if the lawsuit ended unfavorably for them. In the end, Warner Brothers settled with Whitmill for an undisclosed sum. And as silly as the suit might sound on paper, Whitmill had a point considering how extensively Stu's inked up face was featured in the movie's trailers and posters, and that the comedic context was in large part authored by Whitmill's design. Number 1,
there's something fair.
If he designed it, then yeah, I mean.
Ghostland. 2018 indie horror film Ghostland was hit with a lawsuit following an on-set accident while shooting the movie's prologue sequence. 19-year-old actress Taylor Hickson, who played a young version of the character Vera, had her face disfigured while filming a scene where her character was banging on a glass window. After being instructed to pound harder on the glass by director Pascal Laugier, it shattered and she fell through the window pane, resulting in Hickson being rushed to hospital and receiving several stitches, leaving her with permanent facial scarring. Hickson sued the production in March 2018, citing lost work due to her injuries,
why did they
and
use
claiming
real glass?
that the
You're not
production
supposed to use
company,
real glass.
unfortunately named Incident Productions, didn't take basic steps to create a safe set, by using neither safety glass nor stunt doubles. To further worsen the film's already negative wave of PR, its insensitive marketing campaign featured the protagonist with a stylized frown. The lawsuit is still
I've never even heard of this movie.
Seems like an incredibly clear
That's awful.
One can't imagine a judge ruling in the production's favor.
Wow, that
That
was
is so
that was
awful.
messed up right there. That one was messed up.
Did that?
Joe Johnson edited this one. Cool. Wow, some of these were shocking.
Yeah, some of them were stupid, and then the other ones I was like, ooh, why was production that lenient and like not as careful?
I've been sued for many similar things on this list.
Really? Like what?
I don't take precautions on any of my sketches. It's usually John. John gets 95% of the profits from the real rejects.
Because you put them through so much.
I'm glad they led with number 10 with the frat boys from Borat. You guys deserved it. Being racist dumbasses. Racist dumbasses.
I just found it funny, like suing for defamation, but like you said those things. How is that defamation?
It wasn't like an article was published.
No.
It wasn't like Borat said it or people said it.
You said it.
You're the ones on camera who displayed this behavior and said it. And even if it wasn't going to be out in the States, even if you were under that presumption, there's still a chance that information somewhere in the media form in the world could have gotten into the States. That was dumb. But from my understanding, a lot of people sued on the Borat movie.
That's what makes it iconic.
This Resident Evil one shocked the hell out of me.
It really made me sad.
You know what degloving is? That's when like the skin rips off. So when you say like degloved face, to see her face here, and the fact that she did go through that, whatever reconstruction surgery they had, they did a wonderful job because they degloved. That is, ugh. I mean, not like her whole face comes off. I don't know the degree of it, but. Like, that just goes to show you, man, stuntmen really put their lives on the line.
They deserve Oscars, honestly.
They deserve some kind of award, some category, because...
They're risking their life for a movie.
Now she can't work again.
Why can't they just give her a lump sum and be done with it? Like, pay her medical bill? Like, I don't understand.
You would think that the studio would want to...
It said at that point how much money this freaking movie made, and then it says at the end that the lawsuit's still going on. The studio, the producers or something, they should offer something up because she pretty much gave up her whole life now for entertainment for what is a terrible movie franchise. She can't even do her job anymore.
This Black & Decker drill one,
funny.
It cracked me up.
Because Black & Decker didn't even give them the $20,000.
They said they lost credibility. I honestly don't know of anyone. Maybe when Die Hard 2 came out, people really paid attention to product placement or something.
Yeah.
But if I see a commercial for a product that ties into some franchise movie to some extent, right? I never watch the movie and look out for when that product is going to appear. I would never see a Black & Decker commercial that ties into Die Hard in some fashion.
I don't think
go,
people
"Where's
would
that
have watched that
drill?"
and been
Yeah.
like, I need that drill.
I don't know who will.
It's not like E.T. where like, yeah, that boosted Reese's Pieces sales, but it's not the same thing.
Seriously, you're right about that. Who walked out of Die Hard 2? It was like, hey, I want to return this drill because you were not in Die Hard 2. And that was the whole reason I got it, because Bruce Willis was supposed to use it at one point in the movie. This is an interesting one to me, the one about Jon Favreau pleasuring himself to the photo of a model from years ago.
So I know how this stuff works.
Because guys do that to you?
No. Yeah, but I don't get paid for it. They probably were just like, hey, we need a
photo.
model for this pamphlet. Gave her the base pay of $1,500. It's pretty common for movies. Like, we just need a model for this poster. And $1,500 is like the usual base amount.
I think what they were
will
saying was she
say-
got paid $1,500 years ago, and then they used this photo much
Okay.
later. So I don't think she was paid for
this movie
for the
specifically.
movie.
Because
Yeah.
I will say, anything that has to do with anything sexual, you are supposed to be aware of it before they use your likeness. So it sucks that she didn't get anything after this lawsuit.
Well, I think there's two different arguments to be had here. One is the guy's mansplaining argument. And then there is the woman's perspective on this. I'll play devil's advocate. I'll be the mansplaining. If she's gonna pose half naked, odds are there's gonna be a lot of guys who already touching themselves to the photo of her. So why would she be upset about that if she knows if she's gonna pose half naked, that's what is probably part of the purpose of her doing it. She wants guys to touch themselves to her.
But imagine the embarrassment of like millions of people sitting down to watch this movie, watching a guy masturbate to it. That would make me feel so uncomfortable, because then I feel like people are just gonna see me and be like, oh, that's the chick that like, you know, I wouldn't want to be known. I wouldn't want my photo to be known for that with like millions of people watching it.
Wow, Sally, you have woke me up.
But I mean, if she did like sign off the rights, then I guess that's probably
No,
why
end
she
it.
lost.
End it there.
Okay.
End it there. You're right.
Feminist.
You're right. The microwave one.
Jennifer Lawrence's character is like, I mean, they were right. Like, she's like kind of crazy.
I don't even remember that line.
I don't either. I don't really remember the movie, to be honest. Like,
Who watches this long ass movie? Goes, was she right about what they said about the microwave in that movie?
the funny thing is, a lot of people use that argument. Like, I've heard that argument before. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what name she said. Like, people will just say that.
No one's gonna look up the author or whoever she name dropped in it. They're gonna look up, do microwaves?
Yeah, do microwaves actually like get rid of? The answer is yes.
The killer's mask does look.
They didn't even like change the color of his eyes. Like, it's the
Yeah.
same. I will say it's the same thing except the tooth.
It's pretty incredibly similar. I can't make the argument that it is not a distinct look.
But I do think the amount he was asking for was a little much.
50% is
That's
kind of
very-
insane. Yeah.
So I'm on his side with it, but it's also like...
If the mask was every frame of that movie, I mean, yes, the mask is associated with the film because it's the killer. It's not most of the screen time. Part of the fun is not really even the killer. The fun is the time loop that she's stuck in. I don't think 50% is warranted. I get if
That's
you're
a lot. That's a lot.
if you're negotiating for like, I'm gonna go for 50, so they'll go to like 4. No, I mean,
Watch
like,
Shark
you
Tank,
deserve like
learn something.
You deserve something, perhaps, but I don't know 50.
But I will agree that, yeah, he should have gotten paid something.
STU'S tattoo is an interesting ass argument, actually, to be had. Most people, I think, I don't know about no one, but most people will probably not even go, who was the artist of Mike Tyson's tattoo? Because you see
Right.
that tattoo.
You just think of Mike Tyson.
Exactly. So the association you have is, yeah, let's do the Mike Tyson tattoo. Clearly, it's not a real tattoo. It's just a design that's supposed to, like a fake one that's supposed to make you think of the Mike Tyson tattoo when you're watching the movie. I feel like the guy had some ground actually to this. It was his original design that he put on Mike Tyson's face. Mike Tyson made the design famous. Yeah, you know what? He probably deserves something for the design. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if Mike Tyson drew the design himself and just had some guy tatted on him, that's a different thing. But because this guy created that tattoo specifically for, like, I do agree that that's an artist that deserves to be paid. Because, yeah, they use it in all the promotional photos.
You know, and as someone who does reactions, I never have to worry about lawsuits.
I love that sarcasm.
This last one...
That freaked me out.
...is really... that's shocking.
It also upsets me because I've been on big sets and you're supposed to have fake glass if an actor is anywhere near it, like hitting it or anything.
I say that you should go for realism at all times. Yeah, they should have, especially when you're dealing with, like, what are they, teenagers or something? They're like young actresses, huh?
She's definitely under 18.
I mean, I'm all for trying to enhance realism as much as possible, but if you're not a stunt person and you're putting someone's life at risk, especially with glass, that is insanely dangerous. You should always have, like, candy glass or something.
I've been on a super low budget set, and even they, like, a bunch of college kids, and I had to, like, bang on a window, but even they were like, don't actually bang on the window, grab the grate outside of the window and shake. Like, it's like, even like people that aren't that deep into the industry know, like, it's just there's no reason to take that risk.
Right.
Like any actor.
God damn,
but the promotional photo, like, what the hell? That really ticked me off.
That is one of the most insensitive promotional photos. That's so insensitive.
It's very insensitive.
That's like capitalizing on your controversy to the most sinister degree.
I hate that photo. It, like, I can't even look at it.
She deserves any amount she's asking for.
I mean, I'm glad she won.
That is permanent damage done to your face. And as an actress, that does affect your career. Actor or actress, that really affects your career. She probably had, like, at least 3 more years left in her.
You're such an ass. You know what? Those comments affect people, Greg.
They're just jokes, people, and she's still way better looking than me. Well, guys, comment below if you've been in any lawsuits. Tell us all about it. Go into detail.
If you want.
Let us know if you need some legal advice. Trust me, I'm your guy. I've helped Sally out of many lawsuits where she was definitely
put me in lawsuits.
Guilty. Guys, you can subscribe to The Real Rejects. Click our notification bell. Make sure to check out What Culture's channel as well. Sally, is she's in social media. You'll like her. Trust me. Just go check her out.
That would be awesome. I post some interesting content when I do. When I post, it's interesting.
I'm gonna end this with a patron of the day shout out to a man named Scuba Steve.
Scuba Steve.
Scuba, what are you doing?
Remember when we already shouted him out in another video, and I just love his name.
And is that how you said it?
Scuba Steve.
Are you doing like a Mexican accent? Like
no.
like a racist Mexican accent?
No.
Scuba Steve, man.
It sounds like a fun thing to say, like Francisco.
Well, if one person is bound to get sued, it's gonna be Scuba Steve.
Yeah.
He does graffiti art on public property all the time and puts it up on YouTube.
Up.
No, he does. He's a graffiti artist. And
don't get him in trouble, though.
He's the one who's posting his shit on the internet, right? So Scuba, you gotta be careful, man. Especially when I react to your videos down the road, I reveal the identity of your location. You really gotta be careful, because someone's gonna find you and hunt you down by my guidance. But I hope that when you're dealing with lawyers, and clearly when it is your fault, that you still stay pledged to our Patreon page. You're gonna have to make some losses in your income. You're gonna have to make some losses on, do I really need this Netflix subscription? Do I really need this...
Don't go there.
funny subscription service thing? Patreon is where you gotta stay.
But if you are gonna get caught, just let it be a graffiti of The Real Rejects. Because that's like the only way it's okay.
You did it, Sally. You brought this shout out full circle. I appreciate you. And you appreciate me.
Yeah.
I am woke.